Two of the most loved forged Mizunos ever are going head-to-head today. We're talking in the Mizuno MP53 versus the MP59. And let me tell you right now, the answer here is definitely not what the golf forums are telling you.
Absolutely not. Listen, one of these is a true player's cavity that easily fools better golfers. The other looks almost identical in the bag, but it plays way easier for the average guy. Buy the wrong set based on bad forum advice today, and you will lose greens, you'll completely ruin your confidence, and you'll just waste your money.
Welcome back to Golf Gear Showdown. I'm Jake. In today's explainer, we put golf gear head-to-head to help you pick the exact right winner for your specific game.
And I'm Mike. Picture this scenario for a second. You're browsing the used rack at your local shop and you spot these classic grain flow forged beauties. Both are stupid cheap right now. You start thinking you can finally play a classic Mizuno set without breaking the bank. But honestly, which one actually fits your swing?
Pretty much every American mid-handicapper searches for this exact equipment comparison. Let's look back at the marketing hype from 2011 and 2012. The MP53 hit the scene first with this hidden CNC pocket cavity in the long irons. Mizuno actually called this their dual muscle design. It was built specifically for the guy who wanted that pure MP feel but desperately needed help getting the ball up in the air. Then the MP59 arrives in 2012. We get a thinner top line, it's way more compact, there's less offset, plus it rocked a forged face with a titanium muscle insert, which they called tie muscle. Now, Mizuno originally charted these right next to each other for forgiveness, but common feedback suggests they perform completely differently on the actual grass. Stick around for round 2, folks. We're breaking down forgiveness in a bit, and what we found is going to completely flip what you thought you knew about these two clubs. It's easily the most surprising round, and most golfers get it completely wrong.
Let's get into the tale of the tape. We've got 6 rounds today to settle this. 1. The matchup setup. 2. Distance and forgiveness. 3. Accuracy and feel. 4. Price and golfer fit. 5. Biggest buying mistake. And 6. The final verdict. Section 1. Distance and forgiveness, covering rounds 1 and 2.
Let's dive straight into the first half of this head-to-head battle. Round 1 is all about distance and launch. Let's take a look at the traditional loft data first. Look, neither of these is a pure distance iron. We're talking about a 34-degree 7-iron here. If you're coming from a modern game improvement iron, you are going to lose a full club in distance. Based on design intent and loft alone, the yardages on pure strikes are completely identical. I really have to call this a draw on distance. Actually, I gotta challenge you there, Mike. Pure strikes in a simulator? Maybe. But real-world launch speeds tell a very different story out on the actual course. The MP53 has that deep center of gravity. For the average American golfer swinging an 85 to 95 mile/hour 7-iron, the MP53 just carries easier. It gives you that floaty winter flight that mid-handicappers absolutely love. Most golfers report the MP59 4-iron plays pretty much exactly like a blade. You literally need your swing perfectly on point to elevate it. Okay, fair point. I will concede that. Strong ball strikers will definitely prefer the MP59's flat penetrating flight. But for mid-handicappers and slower speeds, the winner of round 1 is officially the MP53.
Round 2 covers forgiveness. This category changes everything, honestly. We are looking closely at miss-hit behavior. The MP53 hides that CNC pocket cavity in the 3 through 7 irons. When a 10 to 15 handicapper misses off the toe, the MP53 keeps it fairly straight. You just come up a bit short. You'll definitely feel the miss, but it rescues your scorecard.
On the other hand, the MP59 has that T muscle to stabilize center hits, but the sweet spot is incredibly tight. Players literally say it plays more like a blade than a cavity, featuring a sweet spot about the size of a quarter. Find it, and it's absolute butter. Miss it, and you are heavily punished.
Exactly. Without a doubt, the winner for forgiveness is the MP53. It is unequivocally the more playable iron.
Section 2. Accuracy and feel, covering rounds 3 and 4.
Coming up next, I'm going to reveal a truth about dispersion and control in round 3 that most weekend golfers completely miss. Let's talk about round 3, which handles accuracy and consistency. The MP53 is incredibly accurate, but it really just wants to go straight and high. It's a point-and-shoot iron, definitely not a scalpel.
See, this is exactly where the MP59 claws back into the fight. The T insert tightens dispersion significantly on pure strikes. Low single-digit handicaps absolutely love the distance consistency. One real 11 handicap said he completely stopped nuking random flyers over the green like he did with his old irons. It gives you awesome workability. You can hit draws, fades, basically whatever trajectory you need. But Mike, a 14 handicap doesn't need to shape shots. They just need to keep the ball playable and in the short grass, which heavily leans MP53. True, but we're specifically grading accuracy and control potential here. For a low single-digit player needing absolute precision, the winner of round 3 goes to the MP59.
Round 4 is all about feel, sound, and confidence. There is a massive psychological side to looking down at your club at address. The MP53 has a slightly thicker top line and a touch more offset in the long irons. That gives a mid-handicapper major confidence when staring down a tough 190-yard par 3. Plus, it has that classic, loud, crisp, grain flow forged feedback.
Meanwhile, the MP59 is a bit divisive. That tie muscle gives it a slightly firmer, more muted click. Some folks say it isn't the classic Mizuno feel. But the address profile, thin top line, less offset, it looks highly blade-like. Scratch players absolutely love looking down at it.
Because this depends entirely on what visually inspires you to swing freely, we're declaring round 4 a dead tie.
Section 3. Price and golfer fit, covering rounds 5 and 6.
Stay tuned, because Mike is about to share a smart shopper move that will completely save you from a massive purchasing regret.
Round 5 brings us to price and value. Both are used market steals today. Back in 2012, the MP59 cost about $300 more brand new. Today, you can find clean sets all over the secondary market. The MP53 is usually $30 to $80 cheaper than the 59.
So what's the smart shopper move here?
It's all about shaft options. Because the MP53 was aimed at a broader handicap range, it's way easier to find with a variety of lighter shafts, like the KBS Tour or Neppen. Clean MP59 sets get snatched up incredibly fast by better players who tend to hoard them. The clean value winner here is the MP53.
Round 6. Let's rapid fire the golfer fit matrix based on design intent. Beginners and 18+ handicaps? Honestly, skip both. Go buy JPX Hot Metals. These will just hurt your game.
Mid-handicappers, 8 to 15. The winner is the MP53. Higher launch, much easier long irons.
Low handicappers, 0 to 7. The MP59 takes it. Tighter dispersion and minimal offset. Seniors and slower swingers, MP53 all day long. Fast, steep swings, MP59. That V-chisel sole gives you turf interaction just like a true blade.
What about slicers? MP53. It has a touch more offset to help you square the face up. Distance seekers? Neither. You're in the wrong category entirely. And if you're a budget buyer, the MP53 wins again.
Number 1. The biggest buying mistake to protect your game.
Let's pause right here for a second. We're about to cover the biggest buying mistake people make with these two clubs. Pay close attention to this insider advice because I guarantee someone watching is going to think, wow, I almost did exactly that.
The single biggest mistake you can make when choosing between the Mizuno MP53 and MP59 is ego buying. Do not buy the MP59 just because a better player told you to. I literally see it all the time. A 14 handicapper grabs the MP59 because it looks cooler in the bag and they want to look like a player.
Yep. Then they can't launch a 5-iron, they lose 15 yards toe side on a miss, and they blame their swing mechanics for months.
It ruins your confidence completely. Fit your strike, not your ego. Don't play a club meant for a scratch golfer if you need help elevating the golf ball.
The second huge mistake, ignoring the shaft specs on the used rack. Both of these models shipped tons of sets with the heavy dynamic gold S300 shaft. If you have an 80-mile-per-hour 7-iron swing, putting that heavy shaft in an MP59 will result in a terribly low launch. It'll just feel boardy and dead. Get fit. Even when buying used, you've got to watch those shaft specs.
Time for brutally honest pros and cons. We have zero brand protection here. MP53. Pros. It's the most playable MP of its era. Higher launch, real forgiveness with a thin top-line look. Cons. Traditional lofts mean you lose a club. The soft chrome dings easily, so bag chatter is very real. MP59. Pros. Compact player's shape, solid feel, super tight dispersion on pure strikes, outstanding workability. Cons. Far less forgiving. Thin strikes are heavily punished. Lower long iron launch makes it incredibly tough for slower speeds. Plus, it costs more on the used market.
Number 2. The final verdict. Who wins overall?
All right, it all comes down to this. We're going to put up the final scorecard right now to give you absolute confidence in your decision. Let's run through the definitive winners for every single category. Best for beginners? Neither. Mid-handicap? MP53. Low handicap? MP59. Best for distance? It's a tie, but the MP53 launches easier for average speeds. Forgiveness? MP53. Best value? MP53. Best if price doesn't matter and you pure it? MP59. So who wins overall? For the better ball striker, it is clearly the MP59. But the overall winner for the average weekend American golfer is the Mizuno MP53.
Exactly. There is rarely one perfect club for everyone out there. But in this specific head-to-head battle, forgiveness beats workability for about 80% of Americans.
So, are you Team MP53 or Team MP59? Drop your handicap and your pick in the comments below right now. And if you want more honest gear battles, hit that subscribe button. Next week, we're looking at another massive matchup, MP20 versus MP59. We put golf gear head-to-head so you stop